All right, welcome to this session on the audits. So, the next section of the journal is about really figuring out where you are, being very objective about this. And we start with the leadership audit, the King's leadership audit. So, you can scan this, you can do an electronic version of it, or you can just follow along here. The reason this is so important is because no one's going to follow a man who cannot lead himself, and no one's going to follow anyone who can't lead themselves. Not your children, not your team, not your partner. Yes, they may comply for a little while. They may even tolerate you, but they will not fully trust you. Self-leadership is the foundation of a king's external leadership. So without that leadership and in authority, your position means very little and your words carry no weight. Your mood will set the tone and your standards set the ceiling of where you're going to be able to get to. Your behavior teaches everybody around you more than you can say. You might have heard a not so good leader say something like, "Do as I say, not as I do." And how did that work out? Never good. So you need to know that you need the standards. If you want to teach your team, if you want to teach your children certain standards, you need the standards yourself. And the audit is about removing self-deception, not being a Walter Mitty here, just being honest, not to judge you, but to measure you. The king is not guessing how he's doing. He reviews it correctly and he leads himself properly. So integrity, you're going to start, it's 0 to 5. 0 is broken. It's not there at all. 1 is inconsistent. 2 is improving. 3 is solid. 4 is strong. 5 is unshakable. So how is your integrity? Are you a man of your word? When you say something, you mean it. You always honor it with action. You never say anything you do not mean, and you never make a promise you have no intention of keeping. You meet commitments and deadlines. This can be really quite simple. This can be as simple as showing up for calls that you say you're going to show up for. This can be, showing up for appointments, meeting people, doing the things you say you're going to do. Quite simple. Have a real think about that and then score yourself between 1 and 5. The next is radical responsibility. You are the final authority over your life. Nothing is outsourced. You do not blame the weather, the market, or your people around you. When you fall short, you look at your decisions, your standards, and your leadership before you look anywhere else. In relationship, you own your absence, your reactivity, your part in any breakdown. You respond with intention, not impulse. The state of your world always reflects the state of you. So again, 1 to 5 on that. Alignment, you act in accordance with your inner truth. Your actions match your values and your word, and your leadership is clean, not because it is performative, because it is not performative. In business, you make decisions from principles, not approval, from long-term order, not short-term applause. At home, you speak the truth early, hold boundaries without guilt, and never buy peace through self-betrayal. Next is accountability. So when something breaks, you restore it without delay. You do not hide, deflect, or disappear. You own your mistakes openly, correctly, and decisively, and your behavior your changes are visible. In relationship, repair is not verbal theater. You don't just speak about it. It is lived. You actually do stuff. You rebuild trust through action, not explanation. Your authority grows because you carry responsibility publicly. So this, in the event that this is about, in the event that you don't hold your word, because you're not going to be 100% on integrity. No one's very rarely is anyone going to be a 5, but you can be strong. And then on the times where you do realize that you have broken your word, even if other people don't realize it, you keep yourself accountable. That's real accountability. Now, most of us are seeking external accountability. I think we've been brainwashed into seeking that out. I think that's very convenient for coaches and people selling programs to keep you accountable. But I don't enjoy doing that personally. I much rather teach you and how to be accountable to yourself, how to own your own actions so that you can be the master of your own ship and the author of your own life. You Notice when something is broken and you restore it without delay. That's accountability. That requires courage, and courage is our next trait. So you advance in spite of fear. Hesitation does not rule you. You acknowledge fear, but you never obey it. In business, you make the hard calls and have difficult conversations and set direction, even though the outcome may be uncertain. At home, you speak the truth, hold your boundaries, and choose responsibility over comfort. Things move forward when you move forward. Scoring yourself 0 to 5 in each one, add up your total score. If you're around the 20 to 25, congratulations, you are leading yourself well. Just guard your standards, maintain them. If you're 15 to 19, you're functional, but you're leaking authority. Maybe you show up sometimes as a weak king or a tyrant. So just tighten up the discipline around these traits. 10 to 14, inconsistent. Others are feeling it even if they don't say anything to you. Congratulations on being honest about where you're at. And if you're below 10, you're not leading, you're managing consequences. You really need to start by implementing these traits in who you are day to day, in who you're being. So again, things that you're going to work on for the next 90 days. Why do we do the audit? Because we want to see the gaps and then see where we're going to work on from here. Now, there are some other audits in later on in here, which you're going to see. You've got the leadership audit, you've got the kingdom audit, which is more looking at the life that you currently have and whether or not you feel as though you're happy with it. You are going to have the well-being audit, which is about your energy. So go ahead, do all of the audits that are in the journal, and then you can start thinking, where are the gaps in my life that I want to fill in as I move into the next stage, which is going to be about creating the structure. So setting some goals around what you want to create in the next steps of your next 90 days in the life that you want to create for yourself. So that's the reason for doing the audits. And be honest, you be objective, share your results with the community and with me. And I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video. Cheers.